I met you out of the blue, and everything I felt was new. You told me that you weren't ready, but then you act like we're going steady. I knew I was gone. Thought things would change as we blurred the lines, but you only want me sometimes. You made the rules from the get-go, but I would follow you if you said so. If you change your mind before tonight, I'll pretend everything.
Saddle up, baby. It's another writing vlog. June is a very exciting month for me because I have decided to do an hour a day writing challenge. That means that every single day in the month of June, I will be writing for a single hour. It is currently June 4th, so it's the Sunday. It's the first Sunday of June, and I have written every single day. I made myself a fancy little calendar here. So I've written every single day so far for an hour, and the time that I'm choosing to write is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every single day. And so far it's been really good. I really enjoy waking up, reading, and then writing. I feel like I've done that a lot in my life. That has usually been my writing routine. But since starting school, I've allowed myself to kind of let that slip a little bit. And what I'm working on will probably surprise you because it's completely different than anything that I've ever shared on this channel. Kind of, not really. I think there were probably a few videos a while back where I was working on a paranormal story, but this one is completely different. For some reason, this weekend, I just got a rush of inspiration and an idea for a book that I really, really, really want to write. And so I'm switching gears a little bit and I'm focusing on that, and so far so good. Laying kind of the groundwork a little bit. I wrote a little bit of the first scene. I wrote the kind of purpose of the story, what I want the story to be about, and I've done a lot of research on some very weird topics like funeral homes and demonology and things like that. So I'm really enjoying it, and the best part is I already have a name for the work in progress, which is Haunted, the Haunted book. That's what I'm going to call it. I mean, that's not the title of the book, but we'll be calling it my haunted project going forward, and I think that suits it very, very well, and that's what I'm going to work on. The only other thing that I want to show you, because I'll probably be working on it throughout the week during my hour-long writing session in the morning, is this new book that I just got. I did not break my ban. My husband bought it for me because I was having a very, very bad writing day and I was just getting so frustrated, and then I came up with a story at the end of it, and I was so excited, and he bought me this book because I think it's going to really help me with honing in this story and being able to organize my thoughts in order to write the kind of cleanest draft. And by cleanest, I don't mean like polished, I just mean like short and concise, tight, you know? I don't know if you know. I don't know if any of that makes sense outside of my head, but the book is Story Genius: How to Use Brain Science to Go Beyond Outlining and Write a Riveting Novel Before You Waste 3 years Writing 327 Pages That Go Nowhere. This is by Lisa Cron. And full disclosure, I was actually influenced to buy this book by a writing friend whose Instagram I will share down below because she also posts a lot of really amazing atmospheric things about books and writing, and she's really inspirational. She has been reading this for a while and just raving about it to me, and I feel like I know enough about this book to really feel like it is actually going to help me. I mean, we will see. I don't know. But essentially what this book is it is all about focusing not necessarily on being a pantser or a plotter, but getting the best story possible. It helps with overwriting and really making sure that every single idea that you have matters for your story. First part about the book focuses on developing really strong characters, and then the second half focuses on developing really strong scenes. So I am so excited to dive into this. Like I said, I'm probably going to use my hour every once in a while to read and work on maybe some of the exercises. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see how I feel about this. I am a big believer in taking what serves you when it comes to writing advice and ignoring what does not when it comes to writing advice. I don't believe there is one correct way to write, and I feel like a lot of people feel that. I don't think that's a revolutionary idea. So I'm excited to learn some things and maybe pick up some exercises and some tips and tricks on how to keep my story as tight as possible. So wherever you are, I hope you are cozy. If not, get cozy, because this is just going to be like a writing week as per usual. Let's see what we get up to. Let's see what fun we have in store. Okay, I really want to film this update, but I'm struggling so much. I'm so winded because the air quality is really, really bad here in Toronto. I just got home. I normally don't have to go in or go anywhere on Mondays, but one of my classes is called Introduction to Libraries, and part of the class is touring a bunch of different types of libraries. So we just toured a branch of the Toronto Public Library, and it was really cool, but it was very long. And it was a lot of like standing around and active listening, which can be very tiring. But I wanted to update quickly on what I worked on today. For the first like 30 minutes, I just let myself free write. I just like wrote whatever I was feeling down, trying to keep the theme in line with the story that I'm writing. So it was a little bit darker, it was a little bit more twisted, but it was just like free writing, just let myself go, stream of consciousness. And then for the second half of it, I worked through a couple little sections of Story Genius, which I am liking so far. I got about 50 pages in, and we're finally getting to... Sorry, you were really looking down there for a second. We're finally getting to some exercises, which is really nice. I feel like the exercises are going to be really good for this particular work in progress that I'm starting, because this book really focuses on story, obviously. That story isn't necessarily what we think it is. It's not external factors happening to our characters. It is a character journey that actually starts well before the book starts, which is a really interesting concept and really something that I agree with. One of the things that I had to do today was really write down the moment that I came up with this book and talk about the spark of inspiration and how I started thinking about this story. And then the second part was why I care about the story that I want to tell, which was really great, because I feel like with my first book, when I first started to write, I think my why was literally, I just want to try to write a book and see what happens. Whereas now I feel like with this particular project, I have a very clear why as to why I want to write it. This book seems to be really emphasizing how important that is and how important it is to have a purpose to the story, which can be very big or can be very small. So I'm enjoying it so far. So I did that for about 30 minutes. I wrote the two little sections, and I just want to keep going, but I have to study because I have a test this week that I have to study for. I really don't want to, but so far, so good. I'm so tired today. I have a test and the air quality is really, really bad. And I have just been tired all week. I don't know why, but I'm gonna get to it. Cheers.
Hair stirring in the breeze. I was saying how I'd never quite felt at home anywhere, and you wrote that you wish to be a home for me. What happened to us from that photo? It was all so long ago. Beneath all the shimmer and sparkle, were we never meant to be?
This was probably the most difficult school day I've had since I've started. I had some technical problems during a test, and then I spent the afternoon just doing the most mundane project I've ever had to do. So my brain is a little fried, but I realized I never updated on my writing progress from today, or even I think yesterday. I'm not sure if I did, but I'm just kind of working my way through this book even more. Today I had to really focus on my protagonist and what my protagonist wants, what they want at the beginning of the story, which I think is a really, really cool way of formulating an idea, because I feel like the majority of people who are readers need to have really strong characters. And so with this book, the emphasis on characters is just really, really vibing with me. Lisa Cron, the author of this book, really wants you to know your character well before you start writing. And so today I really did have to brainstorm and think about who my character is on the day before my story starts, or maybe even the day of, but who she is, what she wants, what she desires, what she believes. And then the more difficult part was the why. So why does she think that? Why does she believe that? Why does she want that? Why does she think she wants that? So it's just really, really interesting. It's really cool. The last section that I worked on was this exercise. It says, the question, why does your protagonist want what she wants? What will getting it mean to her? What does she think it will say about her? Remember, to the outside world, it might say something quite different about her. Not to mention, very often, what your protagonist thinks achieving her goal will mean to her turns out to be very wrong. Often, that's the whole point of the story. So, it's really, really interesting. It has a really interesting approach to developing a story, and it's working out really well for me, particularly with this book that I'm writing, because it's not super high fantasy. There is some fantastical elements, but it's low stakes. I don't know how this book would feel writing an epic fantasy or writing an epic novel with multiple characters and multiple parts, but so far it's working. I'm clearly finding a lot. I was really excited at the start of this day, but I think that this afternoon and the issues with my test, which worked out and turned out to be fine, just kind of put me in such a sour, exhausted state. But writing is going really well. It's actually it was the highlight of this day. There's just a lot going on right now, school stuff. There's so much smoke in the air here in Toronto, and, it's just weighing on me a little bit. It's really helping me formulate this story well in advance. And while I'm so excited to write it, I feel like I will be in a much better place to start writing it after completing this book than maybe I would have been without reading this book.
One of the great things about reading this book is I get so many scene ideas while I am reading it. Not because of the content of the book directly, but just something that the author will say or explain, just sparks an idea. So I've been writing down all of my scene ideas, but I haven't done any work beyond that, and they might still change depending on the character work that I do, but it's a nice little side effect that I wasn't expecting. I think it's because it's just making me think about my story and my character in a pretty intense way, in a pretty microscopic way. I'm just about to do one of the exercises, but I have a little bit of a roadblock. The exercise that I'm doing is going to be all about defining my protagonist's misbelief as concisely as I can, which according to this book is ultimately the driving factor of the entire story, which I do agree with. I do fundamentally agree with her argument that every story, ultimately, when you whittle it down, every good story is about a character overcoming something internally as opposed to external things that happen to them. So this is going to be the driving force of the entire book. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of time with it if I'm able to. We'll see.
Remember when you sang me the song Chengdu? It was during our first trip in an Airbnb. In the dim glow of the lights, you looked into my eyes and serenaded me softly. You said you heard it at some random bar. The lyrics struck me as bittersweet, leaving someone behind in pursuit of freedom. I'd thought
Okay,
you
so
said
really quickly, I just stopped short of writing a summary for a scene. The scene that I have to work on is basically the moment that my character's worldview alters. I previously talked about how I had to write a misbelief that they hold that will be the driving force of the novel. The scene that I have to write, or that I have to summarize, is basically the moment that they developed that worldview, the moment that they altered. It's basically like a character origin story, truly. Like, almost like, you know how like villains have like origin stories? It's like that, except it doesn't necessarily have to be a villain, or it doesn't necessarily have to be bad either. I did not write the full summary. I just kind of wrote some bullet points. And now I'm going to head off to campus, and it doesn't look too smoky right now, but I know it's supposed to be one of the worst days for smoke, so I think I'm going to wear a mask and bring my puffer and just hope for the best. I'm going to be inside the majority of the day, but still, it's really getting to me. I could not sleep last night because I was coughing so much. So, good times, I guess. Terrible times.
but it's you who left. You've chosen freedom. Will that song remind you of me? Or had you sung it to all the girls that you've walked away from? You've had lots of practice, while I had none. Master of walking.
I didn't even cross off my thing yesterday, my little writing box. I'm gonna do that right now. I think I did the self-sabotage thing where at the beginning of the week I convinced myself it was going to be a light week, which basically meant that I moved absolutely everything that needed to be done to the very end of the week. So it was a late night last night. It was a very poor health day yesterday. I didn't eat a single vegetable. Oh, okay. I didn't eat a single vegetable all day. Like, I mean that. I did not have a single vegetable until I realized I didn't have a vegetable after dinner, and I ate a carrot because I thought maybe that would make it a little bit better. My poor little body. It's okay. That's fine. That doesn't mean anything. It just means that today I just need to make sure my body is nourished. I just stood in the kitchen and ate pizza for breakfast while cleaning because my friend is coming over for the weekend. We're going to see a concert, which is going to be really exciting. I am genuinely excited. It's just I am feeling very tired and just kind of like this was supposed to be an easy week, and it just turned out to be a little bit more crammed than I meant for it to be. I also cleaned the bathroom, and I am in the middle of doing laundry. I just switched over my laundry to my dryer, so I have an hour and I'm gonna write. I'm going to write, and then I'm going to have class, and then I'm gonna edit this video, hopefully get it done with enough time to make some food, clean out the fridge, all that fun stuff. These next 2 weeks at school are going to be quite intense. I have, let's see, actually, let's do the count together, shall we? In the span of 2 weeks, 10 business days, I have 12 either tests or assignments due. So it's going to be a pretty intense next 2 weeks, and I'm trying not to think too much about the fact that I'm not really going to be working this entire weekend because I'm going to have a friend over. C'est la vie, it happens, you know, you just got to enjoy life a little bit. We are coming near the end of my first semester, and so far so good. I'm going to stop procrastinating and I'm going to write now. Oh wait, I haven't even told you what I'm working on. I'm going to, I mean, you kind of know, actually you know what I'm talking. Oh my gosh, I'm so frazzled. You know what I'm working on. You know what I'm working on because I talked about it. I am going to write my character's origin story, kind of, the moment that her world belief was created. And then I'm going to continue on and just see what else there is to work on. I think I'm almost halfway, and halfway is when you start working on scenes. Moving my way through, that's pretty good pace. I feel like I'll probably finish this in a couple of weeks, and then it will be time to dive into the story. Let's get to writing. Let's do it. Me again. Let me get you more comfy. This is such an interesting way to approach writing a story, and I'm really glad that I'm trying it because basically what I'm doing right now is I'm writing an incredibly pivotal moment in my character's life story, which is uncomfortable because I don't really know the story or the character that well at all, and normally this would happen like halfway through. Not even halfway through, but I think it would just happen after a little bit more writing and maybe a little bit more time. I actually think I would at least have more writing done before I would write this moment. I would know about this moment, but like actually physically writing it is really uncomfortable and really interesting. And I only say uncomfortable because I just like have my voice in the back of my head being like, you're gonna rewrite it, you're gonna rewrite it. That's what the voice in my head sounds like. So that's what I'm gonna do, I think. I don't think I'm gonna do it today, but that's the next step. The next step is writing this scene. Ooh, but it's really exciting, actually. I suppose I'm uncomfortable in a really good way because this is just the action right now. Here we go. But I'm really enjoying it because it dives you headfirst into your character's mind in a way that I wouldn't necessarily have started with. You know, like you are literally in the worst moment of, at least for me in this exercise, I'm in the worst moment of my character's life. It's gonna be a pretty intense scene. I don't think I'm gonna write it today. I think I'm just gonna read through the last section where she kind of goes through what the scene should feel like and consist of, and just make sure that I have that down. And then I think I might try to write it this weekend. We'll see. I'm really excited to write it. I feel ready. I feel like I understand the approach that I should be taking. I feel like I understand my character a little bit more. And to be totally honest, I'm just really excited to write this book because it just feels like it needs to be written. It's something that I've had in my head for a really long time, and so I'm very excited. So this was a writing vlog that was filled with a lot of like random ups and downs, I feel like. I mean, I don't think I documented the downs as much as I probably should have, but that's just because life is just banana pancakes right now. Truck is backing up. So I'm gonna wrap this up super quickly and just say thank you so much for being here. If you are at all interested, you should definitely check this book out. I think that it has a very interesting approach to a story that I completely agree with. So I'm pretty amazed that I'm vibing so well with a writing book. It's been a long time since I've studied the craft of writing, and I don't know, this feels right. This feels like exactly the one I needed to pick up. So I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm gonna keep working on this story, and I will see you in the next video. Stay creative out there, and I don't know when the next video will be. I'm gonna try really hard to keep to my weekly schedule, but we're gonna take it day by day. Until next time.